data sent by a customer or designed in another software package, there are a number of options in Artcam Insignia. If we click on the Import Vectors option to start with here, you can see that I have a variety of file formats that Artcam Insignia is able to recognise. EPS, DXF, DWG, both from AutoCAD, AI files from Adobe Illustrator, and Windows Meta files. What's powerful about Artcam Insignia's import filters is they'll recognise the data within them, but also they'll give you options, as you see here, to centre it, to check for crossings, to automatically rejoin it, and even to tell it the format that the data was initially programmed in to make sure you get the size correct when it's imported. So you can see this DXF file that I've brought in here is part of a mantelpiece design. Now another benefit of Artcam Insignia's import function is with the DXF or DWG that's been created with the AutoCAD software, it will actually recognise the layer information. So if we go into the Layers tab here, you can see it's automatically picked this up from the file, and I can switch off or highlight any particular one of those layers that I want to look at any particular time. This is extremely powerful functionality and makes it very easy for me to organise the data, especially if the person that's sending it to me had organised it onto layers as well, which is very often the case. If your starting point for the data that you need to cut is a bitmap, a TIFF or a JPEG or some raster-based image, Artcam Insignia includes a module called ArtTrace that comes as a standard part of the program. If I pick a GIF here that I've just downloaded off the internet, which is the logo of a company that I need to do a program for, we'll see that it opens it up, it gives me the option to set the size. I'm just going to take the defaults, and I can see from the bottom here that I have many different shades of blue, even though this looks pretty straightforward. So the first thing I'm going to do is use the tool in ArtTrace just to reduce it down to 2 colours. The next thing I'm going to do is just select the fact that I want to fit the vectors to this from the bitmap, and instantly I have vectors fitted around the outside of the bitmap there. I'm just going to take those vectors and we will bring them into Artcam Insignia. Now, I can see that these are not exactly perfect, and what I need to do is make sure, for instance, that this is a circle and that I have nice smooth transitions here, that these areas are straight and everything looks good. The way that I'm going to do that is just delete this top piece here and edit these bottom 2. The first thing I'm going to do is take this circle here, or what should be a circle, and I'm going to make sure it really is a circle. So we've got a tool in Artcam Insignia where I can take the vectors here and I can convert them to circles or squares or rectangles based on the original or based on a specific size. So I'm going to say from the original to a circle, and you can see that's automatically generated a circle that is as close as to the original size as we can. Next we're going to take this vector here, and I'm going to the node editing mode. I can see I've got nodes here which really need to be lined up. Again, we have lots of shortcut tools inside of Artcam Insignia where I can take these and with just a single keyboard click I can instantly line them all up along a particular axis. In this case also their Y values are the same, but I could also do that along X. I can convert this line here to make sure it's a line, and then we can come in and actually start to delete some of the additional data that we've got here and make sure that these lines are smooth. Now I've distorted those lines now, but I actually copied the original. So this will give me the opportunity now to come in and with these lines being smooth, actually take them and just make sure that we can accurately match that original data. Then I can come in, delete the original again, and we're just going to create a couple of lines here which will allow me to accurately mirror this around the center object. You can see that Artcam Insignia has lots of automatic snapping there, so I was able to pick up the quadrants of this circle. Now we're going to pick this and use the mirroring tool in order to say make a copy, mirror that about the line, and then we're going to mirror it about this line without copying it. Delete those 2 lines in the middle there, and you can see we've got a very nice, clean, accurate representation of that logo. Very easy for me to clean up data that we've vectorized within Artcam Insignia. As well as importing and fitting vectors to simple shapes, Artcam Insignia is also capable of handling large TIFFs, bitmaps, GIFs and JPEGs as well. If we start ArcTrace again and load a file, this is from a clip art collection, I'm able to set up the size. We can see in this case we have well over 2,000 pixels along the long side of this design. I have a number of greys and blacks and things again, so the first thing I'm going to do is reduce it to 2 colours. Then I'm going to select the black and we're going to fit a vector to that, and you'll see that Artcam Insignia does this extremely quickly based on how much data we've actually got here. We can then take that vector and bring it back into Artcam Insignia itself, the main program. Just centre that up. The next thing I want to do is check this data. Very often it's easy to create problems with data as complex as this, where you won't be able to machine it, maybe where there's a small loop or a coincident point. So we're going to use something called the vector doctor that I can actually get to look at the data we've got here and find out if I have coincident points or if I have loops. It's powerful enough to actually fix the loops, but if the problems I've got are coincident points, then I do need to go in there and fix them myself. But at least it makes it very easy for me to find them and then take care of them. You can see that what it does is highlight the problem areas with these red circles that we've got here and here. So now I'm able to zoom in there, select this, and then just tidy up the data to make sure it looks okay. Do the same with the one down here, where we can come in, just delete the excess points that we've got in there. If I want to check these again, I can just select on that area there, just ask it to re-identify to make sure those points are clear, and you can see they've both gone now. So I know this data is clean. Now just to prove that, let's take this file and put a V-carving toolpath on it as if we were going to engrave it. Pick a carving tool here, and we'll just calculate this now. And you'll see, because the data is clean, Artcam Insignia is able to very quickly generate the path on this project in order to actually create the toolpath for us. So in just a few minutes we were able to go from a file that was a bitmap, load it, clean it up, fit vectors, and then actually machine it, and you can see the simulation here to show how that would look when we cut it.